Drew, of course, man. Whatever you need. I'll give you some fatherly advice maybe later.
No,
Drew didn't actually end up showing up to the lake. He didn't come hang out with me, even though I said specifically that would not be I wouldn't offer any father-son advice, at least during that time. So we'll see exactly how that goes. But I'm here. We're here. Happy to be back on a Monday after the 4th of July, so we can talk more about that. We obviously have to start off today talking about the Balogun suspension lifted over the weekend, and now the updated part of it, which is Belgium trying to appeal the suspension from the red card going into it. Now, first off,
what a mess.
The normal amount of annoyance over FIFA's rules is obvious. So let's just get to that part. The idea that you can't appeal a red card, but you can appeal the suspension of a red card makes absolutely no sense to me, Drew, and it will never make any sense to me. So, okay, I'll just try not to understand or guess at that part. This is a really complicated issue for me because the obvious part is I don't have an issue with the suspension being lifted. Not just because I'm a fan of the United States men's national team, but because it shouldn't have been a red card. It wasn't on purpose. If you listen to enough people talk about it, Drew, I don't think it should have been a red card. And so, like, the suspension part being suspended, because I can't just get rid of it, never bothered me from the beginning. But I will say, people aren't going to love it, one, because it's happening for the U.S., but also because FIFA's corrupt. But also, like, would you just wake up this morning and learn that FIFA was corrupt? They once allowed bribery for an entire World Cup to be in Qatar. Like, this isn't new information. Sepp Blatter today was complaining about the suspension of that. I'm like, you sold an entire World Cup. You don't get to have an opinion on the corruption of FIFA. They're one of the most corrupt, disorganized, and truthfully, purposefully disorganized. They set up their rules so they can just change things to be whatever they want. They use this rule to allow Ronaldo to play in this tournament. They have players actively awaiting trials, serious trials for things like rape, playing in the tournament. So, like, the fact that Balogun gets to play tonight, maybe, I guess, depending on whether or not FIFA allows Belgians to complain to be there. What do you mean? This is all, like, not new information that FIFA does, like, super corrupt stuff all the time.
And the thing, too, Cody, that's crazy about it is if they had a normal appeal process, like if they had the appeal for the red card process, then I think the red card would have been lifted and everything would have been fine without causing all of this ordeal that we've had here in the last 24 hours. If the U.S. men's national team could have appealed the red card the day after Balogun got the red card, they would have reviewed it within probably 24 to 48 hours, lifted it, and we'd have been known that Flo Balogun was going to play tonight like 2 or 3 days ago. But instead, they've got the most complicated process known to man at this rate, and it's causing all these problems within 24 hours. Can you imagine?
But people know that their process is intentionally this way, right? Because they like to be able to just do whatever they feel like.
Can you imagine at 4 p.m. today, 3 hours before kick or 2 hours before kick?
That'd be crazy.
By the way, the appeal was heard from Belgium, and Flo Balogun, actually, you're not going to be able to play, and the U.S. is going to have to figure it out. Like, I don't think it would cause that much of an issue, actually, because I presume at this point they'll have prepared for, up until yesterday, for the last 3 to 4 days, that he was not going to be available anyways, and, Ricardo Pepi could have stepped in, or maybe there's a formation change, probably, in that case. But
I imagine
they'll at least prepared for it. But, it just invites chaos. I think the way that the way this process has existed, whether you agree with the decision or not, it just invites chaos and confusion.
I guess, but, like, that's FIFA. Like, sometimes it's like we woke up and we're all in, like, a parallel universe. And, look, Belgium comes off. They come off very complainy. It's the U.S. men's national team. That's not exactly a powerhouse. You can't even take them down, like, with their full set.
I think it's the way that I want to describe it maybe is going to be offensive to some people, I suppose, but it's the U.S. thinking they're better than everybody else, and I think that's the vibe that this gets is, of course, like if anybody else would have complained, then it would have probably not happened. But it's the United States, and they think they're better than everybody else, and yada, the reputation that they think they have, yada, 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 is what's giving them this ability to have Balogun back. Because the joke was last night that England, the King Charles or whoever, should make a call to FIFA and get their red card lifted from yesterday. That was a red card, and it was pretty obvious red card. But it introduces this stupid scenario where all of a sudden everything that has happened, or everything that happens going forward with a red card, is now the joke is on the U.S. for what they did and making the call or whatever the case was to review the thing and all that other stuff. It goes back to being the U.S. essentially being the butt of the joke, where people don't care for the United States, I guess is the best way that I can describe it. Like, I think this falls in line also with not only is it offensive to other countries for this, but also it's the U.S. doing it, and they're one of the host nations, and it just feels dirty. I think that also is all part of this for Belgium and for every other country who's complaining about this.
Fine, I guess, but again, they already used this rule for Ronaldo to let him play in the early part of the tournament. So, like, I guess it's not that crazy to me. And I mentioned at the beginning of the show, like, by FIFA corruption standards, this is like middle of the road. It's not the lightest corruption they've done, but it's certainly not the most in their history. They are legitimately, I think the text line said, in the rankings of sports governing bodies as it relates to corruption. IOC boxing, FIFA, the NCAA. I'm not even kidding. FIFA broke its own rules in the way that they reviewed the red card to begin. It's supposed to be in real time, and they lose slow motion. So, like,
the rules are definitely sketchy. I'm not saying that.
They're constantly just breaking their own rules. It's like, and I get it. I think a lot of it is because
it's the United States. I think, honestly, if it was anybody else,
some of it's that. Some of it's the political nature of the president called and this and that adds a whole nother element to it that we're probably not even gonna touch.
No.
Is the truth. And so that part of it, the U.S., the fact that it was this play, like it's all of this. But Belgium does come off whiny.
Oh,
like,
of course.
I'm so sorry that one of their players is available now. Why don't you just, like, maybe not complain all the way leading up to it? Because they're, like, building in their excuses for...
Then, at that point, the rest of the world would be mocking this U.S. men's national team because
they
had their guy brought back, and they still lost the match.
That's true.
Even though I would still say they should be underdogs in this. I know that they're not.
They're slight favorites.
But I do think that they've almost been backed into a corner where if they win, it's great, but there's going to be excuses made as to why they won, maybe, and then if they lose, then they become a mockery and for everybody else to make fun of.
This is like, and then we'll talk about the actual match and what to expect maybe this weekend, and we'll talk about it more in the 11 o'clock hour as well. But this isn't even like corrupt by their corruption standards in the sense that they have allowed their rules to be set up that technically what they did for Balogun isn't even against the rules. It's like against some of the rules and not against other parts of the rules. So what is enforceable? Of course
it feels so
But I'm also
icky.
happy because I don't think he should have gotten a red card. You're not wrong, Drew, in the sense that every part of it does feel kind of like gross.
You're right, though, that he shouldn't have gotten the...
I don't feel like he should have gotten the red card. So in this case, I actually think the right player is available to play.
I agree.
Just for the wrong reasons.
Yes.
So I don't care.
And to what we said earlier, too, if FIFA would have had the proper appeal process, it would have been appealed and probably lifted anyways. You know what I'm saying?
Someone walk me through that part. I can't understand the idea that I can't appeal a red card, but I can appeal a suspension of a red card. What the hell sense does that make?
I honestly had never heard of a suspension of a red card like this before. I had heard of the appeal, but I never have heard of the pause, essentially. So what... I know we don't have time for this. Maybe we can get into it later. If not, we'll find out at some point. But what does the suspension even mean? Can he play today, but then he has to sit out in the quarter?
No, because Ronaldo's had his suspended since the beginning of the tournament.
Yeah, what does this... It just feels so weird, and it is unfortunate, I think, that this is some of the conversation around it, but here we are, and I guess we can talk about who we think is going to win. I think it's going to be it's the toughest opponent that they faced, hands down, by a mile so far.
I don't even really think it's up for debate. They got boat raced by them like 2 months ago, but in fairness, a huge chunk of...
But I don't know about Belgium's team, but the U.S. wasn't pling
anybody.
starters. Tim Weah did play, but I think in terms of the teams, they're not the same as what they will be tonight at all.
No. And it doesn't, you know how this works.
They
it's
lost
like
5-2 in that match, by the
But
way.
it doesn't tell, like, what story does that tell, right? I mean, other than, they technically played against each other. But it's like, if I go back through the lineups, yeah, a couple of guys definitely played, but limited minutes, and it doesn't tell the whole story. Look, the history would tell you Belgium is the better program, always has been, will, and has the better strikers, in fairness, like in the history of it, right?
Romelu Lukaku.
Yeah, but he's
notably.
also ancient, and I don't even know he hasn't been regularly starting, and that's not their only old striker. And so there's a big part of me that thinks, on paper, this is an excellent matchup. That these are two teams that should play a close match, especially knowing now that Balogun is probably available. Although I don't know that for a straight fact, because obviously they're challenging that thing. But no Pulisic in that game.
No, so I went back and looked. So Christian did start. Balogun started. McKinney started. But that's Tim Ream started. Anthony Robinson did. I mean, there's about 5 of the 11 that started for the U.S.
They didn't play very much, though,
Or
did they?
6 of the 11. Tillman also started. For
Okay.
Belgium, there were, Jeremy
De Bruyne
Doku,
played,
De Bruyne played, Onana, who comes off the bench now. Their striker played because Lukaku wasn't fit. It feels like it's almost a mixed bag of both teams playing, but Belgium won 5-2, which it makes me think still right now, if I were to pick right now, I'm picking Belgium to win because I think they've just got more quality and they've been tested more than the U.S. has. I think that it'll be important for the U.S. men's national team to either get ahead early or to at least gain their footing without getting behind. I think playing from behind against a team with that quality can cause some problems, where I think if they get ahead, maybe control how they want the match to go, obviously they're going to have to be connected well. I think it's hard to pick against Belgium in this one just because of the quality that they have. And I know that they might be running on the older side of things, but we've seen what Kevin De Bruyne has done in this tournament. The dude is as good as he's ever been.
But I
still.
also, I do think that the U.S. has the better team overall.
You think so?
I do. I believe it or not, I actually do. That is not something I say casually, Drew, as you know, because the U.S. very rarely has the better team in a round of 16 match against any other country on the men's side, because they historically are not that, are not that challenged. But I do think that they're playing as good a soccer as I've seen them play in 15 or 20 years. Like they are playing more consistently good than Belgium in this tournament, who I think at times, Drew, look a little bit lost. Not lost, but without a firm offensive action plan is probably how I would call it for Belgium, where it looks like it's harder for them to create goal-scoring opportunities than it has been for the U.S. Look, maybe I could be way off. I do think it'll be very close. I think it'll be sweating it out in like the 115th minute of extra time. Like, I don't think it's going to come easy tonight.
Oh,
But
no, not at all.
This, as I've said, this and every match forward are some of the biggest matches in U.S. men's national team history. So, in a weird way, like the Balogun stuff feels like a nice distraction from thinking about that. Like, Belgium's out here complaining and thinking about the wrong things. They should be thinking about the match. But I'm glad the U.S. men's national team doesn't have to think about, they can rally behind, our guy's back, and not think about the fact that this might be the second or third biggest match in their entire program's history. Because it is.
Yeah, for
and the
sure.
next one would be the biggest.
Yeah.
Like if they were to beat Belgium and then this Saturday, right? No, not this Saturday. Is it this Saturday? Yeah, this Saturday, right? On the 11th? Is when they would base their next match?
No, it'd be Friday.
Friday. Oh, it would be Friday. You're right.
I think it's Friday. Don't quote us on that, but I believe it is Friday. But yeah, no, I think you're spot on with the hype around this match.
Friday.
Obviously, is the biggest, one of, if not the biggest match they've ever had. If it does feel like you're right, I agree that this team is the best. This team is the best that we've ever seen in terms of the U.S. men's national team, in my opinion. Like in terms of quality, like that's why they've been deemed the golden era of U.S. soccer in a way, just because the quality's better, the players are better. Them playing in Seattle, I think, helps, certainly, given the environment.
The home field advantage.
Given the environment around Lumen Field, and also just the home field advantage, I think, is a factor in it, where Belgium's going to have to deal with it. There have been moments where Belgium hasn't quite been as good in the attack, I guess, as you would expect, but defensively, they've been really good all tournament long, and they've got maybe one of the best goalies in the world in Thibaut Courtois.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to expect from the match other than I think it will be really good. I just don't see. I see how they could win, but I just don't think it's going to happen. If you told me score prediction right now, 2-1 Belgium is what I would say probably.
I still think the bracket, by the way, in fairness, while the stars have been the stars, and we're going to talk about that at 11, I think it's going to be like 2-1 U.S. So we've just got the inverse scores.
Yeah.
Is that while on one half of the bracket, France and Morocco, who are two of the biggest names in the tournament and two of the better teams, this one, depending on what happens with Portugal, Spain today at 2, but Brazil getting knocked out, I think is a good thing, right? Maybe Mexico and England, that one was kind of a wash. Maybe you can get another upset, maybe maybe Switzerland will get Colombia, or vice versa.
Switzerland have looked really good in this
did.
tournament.
And so, they are, I think now left, the U.S. are probably one of the best. I think they're like the 8th best team remaining, or not, they're starting to get into the range of enough of the 16's been knocked.
They're one of the best ones left for sure in terms of the conversation. I would say so.
And so, look, they're not. I'm not putting them ahead of Spain, and I'm not putting them ahead of France.
Argentina, for sure.
Yeah,
Morocco,
don't get me crazy. I'm not putting them above, but I do think that they're slightly better than Belgium, and I do think that they would be favored if Portugal managed to pull the upset today against Spain. I think they might be favored in that match, and so that part of it, other than the fact that it continues to create interest. So we'll talk more soccer coming up at 11 o'clock, including some of the other excellent, and I do mean excellent matches we've seen already in this World Cup, including the one last night.
It just keeps getting better.
Dude, England and Mexico was incredible last night. So we'll talk about that coming up here in just a few minutes as well. But I was looking at ESPN, who had put out their bold predictions, their 10 big bold predictions for the NFL season. And this isn't per team. This is just the big predictions they wanted to put on paper from our guy, Ben Solak, over at ESPN. One of his bold predictions was that the Chiefs will miss the playoffs again. And I was trying to decide on what I view is the likelihood of that scenario. And I guess part of it being, why is this the team you would doubt having an ability to do it 2 years in a row? I know the questions. The questions at right tackle, which he points out, right? Because now they're starting Jalen Moore, a guy who hasn't regularly been a starter. Yeah. Mahomes coming off a serious injury. 3 of their best players still being older. Mahomes, Kelsey, Jones, etc. And the fact that they are changing their entire secondary for the most part. Not all, but enough. Mm-hmm. But the Chiefs are Andy Reid didn't even miss the playoffs really but once with Alex Smith. He didn't miss the playoffs with McNabb or Kolb, not until the end of the Philadelphia reign. Why would I doubt this team's ability to make the playoffs? If you don't want to say they're a real Super Bowl contender, there are things you can poke a hole in for parts of their roster. I think they are, but fine, if you want to do that. Miss the playoffs, Drew. I can't feign enough issues on their roster or coaching staff to think it's not a playoff team. Maybe on the fringe, but not a playoff team. Feels like things have to go wrong, not just where their roster is.
Man, I guess this is, I'm not going to say this is because we're going to talk about it if we get to this point. If they miss the playoffs again, there's going to be questions around Andy Reid. The last time I think he went back-to-back missing the playoffs was in Philly. When it just turned around and it just didn't work out. And
when
it
just
ended
fell
for him.
apart at the end in Philly,
Which I don't know if there's some similarities to that with how this is kind of going.
I mean, they're still in the middle of the Patrick Mahomes era. He was having all those quarterback injuries.
Yeah, I don't think it. But if they lose again and they miss the playoffs again, then I think it has to be a conversation in terms of how the potential 10 years ended both times. But I don't think it's. I think it would be very surprising if they miss the playoffs. But I know that there's so many questions given in the AFC where, yes, the Chiefs missed, but the Ravens missed, the Bengals missed. If they're healthy, again, I know that's the caveat, but there's 2 more teams you have to compete with, along with the Broncos and the Patriots and the Bills. It feels like them making the playoffs isn't necessarily the guarantee that it was 2 years ago.
I don't. It still feels like. I get your point because they just missed, but why doubt this franchise?
I don't think you can, but at the same time, I don't know if it's. I don't know if it's crazy to think, well, they missed the playoffs again, because they could go 10-7 and miss the playoffs. If one or two bounces go the wrong way in the division or whatever the case is, they could go 10-7 and miss the playoffs.
I know, but like at the same time, like I go back, someone says they need Patrick Mahomes to get back to being excellent in order to be a playoff team. Do they? I mean, he was like, okay,
I don't know.
3,900 yards, 26 touchdowns, 11 picks 2 years ago. They won 15 games. They won 10 games.
They won a Super Bowl with him not playing.
11 games
great.
a year where he had 4,000 yards, but 27 and 14. Like, when he's excellent, they certainly win their fair share of games, but they win games kind of regardless of his level of aptitude. The questions, I think, are secondary. But then it's like, then you're asking me to doubt Spags. And I'll be honest, you're probably not going to catch me doubting Spags' ability to get a defense together by the time the season rolls around.
And especially, Cody, because to me, the number one question is the secondary. But you're right in the fact
pass rush a little,
in terms of what we've seen over the last 3 years, what has been the biggest question? It hasn't been the defense. Because you know the defense is showing up. So who am I to doubt what Steve Spagnuolo is capable of doing, even without a Trent McDuffie, when you know you've brought in Mansour Delane, even without a Brian Cook, when you've tried to piece together some of the safety room? It feels like you would be a bit remiss to just assume that they were going to miss again, or to make that I wouldn't make that prediction. I think the Chiefs will make the playoffs just because of all the things that you mentioned. It's Patrick Mahomes, and he sometimes finds a way to just will the team to places they shouldn't be going. And then Steve Spagnuolo is always that reliable guy that we've seen to lead a defense here, particularly over the last 3 to 4 years, where they've been the backbone of this franchise.
I guess part of it is I've seen worse, way worse rosters than this, with quarterbacks less good than Patrick Mahomes just be competitive because they have a decent coach or a decent quarterback. Like, genuinely. I saw Matt Nagy take Mitch Trubisky to the playoffs. And like, that was an okay roster. Like, if you, like, last year, and this, I guess, is what it comes down to, is last year's playoff teams for the NFL, for the AFC side of it. New England was a really good team. Buffalo was a good team, right? So, like, we know the teams that made the playoffs. So, okay. But are you here to really tell me Houston has a great defense, had a great defense, but had a mediocre genuine best offense with a quarterback playing well below that, and even they made the playoffs. Hell, the Colts with Daniel Jones were a playoff threat for a huge chunk of the season. The Chargers roster had serious problems, and they made the playoffs. So, like, the Steelers, now they had to win their division to do it. 10-7 wouldn't have gotten them in. And the Chiefs division is certainly going to be better than what the AFC North was last year. But it's like, so many playoff teams that were seriously flawed last year still made the postseason or seriously competed for a postseason spot. Baltimore Ravens had one of the worst defenses in the entire AFC, and they were fighting for one. So, like, it's just hard for me to imagine that Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, and some of it's just that, are going to have back-to-back seasons in which the things don't come together. That part of it still gets me. Coming up in 30 minutes, we'll talk more World Cup, including, honestly, genuinely maybe one of the best World Cups for the stars. Haaland, Messi, Mbappe, so many others playing great. But when we come back, we're going to talk about where the Royals go from here. Because if you woke up on Sunday morning and checked the standings, you'd have seen that the Royals were the worst team record-wise in baseball. What is a step to even try to solve some of this? We'll get to that next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
When your AC starts breaking down, AB May is here to help your house feel like a home again. Serving Kansas City for over 65 years, AB May handles it all from AC repairs and upgrades to indoor air quality. When it comes to your home, solved is our standard, and AB May is committed to doing things the right way every time. Trusted by generations, call AB May at 913-383-2222 or visit abmay.com today.
Call your serviceman from AB May.
See website for details. MyFastCash.com is not a lender and does not make credit decisions. Must be 18 years old, not available in all states.
The mechanic called. The repair's going to be $750.
Oh, we got rent and the car payment on top top of groceries, gas, and other bills. We don't have an extra $7.50 right now.
We could try MyFastCash.com. When short on expenses, you can go to MyFastCash.com and could get money as soon as the next day.
MyFastCash.com.
Yes, they can connect you to one of the largest lender networks, and you can get a loan even with bad credit. We could be approved for up to $5,000 fast.
$5,000? That must be a long process.
Nope, approval can happen in just a few minutes right from your phone, and funds could hit our account by tomorrow.
If you have a regular source of income and a bank account, you could be approved for up to $5,000, even with bad credit history. And the cash can hit your bank account the next day.
Honey, I'm going to MyFastCash.com right now.
Thank goodness.
If you need extra cash, go to MyFastCash.com. That's MyFastCash.com. MyFastCash.com.
Loan availability, approval, and funding times vary. Terms apply.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this ad for your morning commute to wake you up, which could help your driving. Science says that stimulating the brain increases alertness. So here's a pop quiz. How many months have 28 days? What gets wetter as it dries? What has keys but can't open locks? If you don't want to hear the answers, turn off this Liberty Mutual ad now. 12 months, a towel, piano. Enjoy being fully alert.
Liberty, 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 liberty. I know everyone is feeling the pinch of high gas prices right now, and that's why I love Hy-Vee. They have fuel saver discounts scattered throughout the store. I love going up and down the aisles trying to find those fuel saver discounts. And if you shop Hy-Vee this Saturday and Sunday, you're going to get a 30-cent per gallon fuel discount when you spend $60 on groceries. So you can stack up the savings with Hy-Vee fuel savers, and your next fill-up could be free. There's nothing better than saving money on gas and doing it only at Hy-Vee.
It's Thirsty Thursday at Hy-Vee. Time to stock up the bar and fill up your tank. Earn 50 cents per gallon fuel savings on every $50 purchase of wine, beer, hard seltzer, and spirits. Mix and match all your favorite libations and get a 50-cent fuel saver with every $50 purchase. Stack up the savings and your next fill-up could be free. Don't miss Thirsty Thursday at your Kansas City, Missouri Hy-Vee. Product promotion differs by location. Offers valid where legal, available while supplies last.
This afternoon, expect sunny conditions with a high of 89.
Weather brought to you by Duke's Mayo. Welcome to Duke's Mayo Country, where the mayo is so smooth and creamy, it makes every bite better. Duke's Mayo. Look for the yellow lid.
If you miss being able to finish a road trip playlist on a road trip, we can help. Just take it to Telly. Schedule your service at tellytire.com.
Hi, thanks for calling Uline.
Wait, did the phone even ring?
Nope.
Okay, so you answered before the ring. But now you're going to put me on hold, right?
We don't do that here. We're real people answering the phone, ready to help with your order when you are.
Uline has thousands of quality products for your business and warehouse needs, always in stock, ready to ship same day, and backed by Uline's legendary 24/7 customer service. Uline, we warehouse for you.
Party at your place this summer? Fix things up inside and out with July 4th deals, now at Lowe's. Get up to 45% off select major appliances and save up to an additional 25% off when you bundle select major appliances. Plus, save $80 on a select Charbroil Performance Series gas grill, now $299. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 7/8 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Bet365 presents Odyssey Sports Midsummer Baseball Showcase Special from Philadelphia, Monday, July 13th, starting at 9 o'clock. Bet365, where winning is everything. Download the Bet365 app and lock in your picks before the game begins. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in select states only.
Royals coverage is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City.
Brought to you by Blue KC is the Coaches with Character program. Do you know a rock star high school coach in your district? Nominate them for the Blue KC Coaches with Character program at bluekc.com/nominate coaches with character. Let's make our coaches feel special and make our community a better place to live, work, and play.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Welcome back here on Cody and Gold. Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Alex returning from the lake. He'll be back on the show tomorrow. So we get a chance to have the full show back again for the rest of the week as we continue our soccer conversations here in about 30 minutes or so, because it has been and continues to be one of the better World Cups. Drew, I mean, at least in my memory. Probably because there's been so many excellent matches and so many of the big stars showing up big. I don't want to break down an individual game for the Royals. And I know it feels like some of these have been, admittedly, Groundhog Day conversations as it relate to them. But I got hit with a harsh dose of reality. On Sunday morning, when someone had correctly pointed out, and I went and looked it up, Sunday morning, if you had checked the MLB standings, the Royals had the worst record in baseball. They don't now by like a half a game in the AL. They have the worst run differential in the American League. And I thought, like, in what universe could it have gone this bad? They are only not the worst team in baseball by 1/2 of a game. They are worse than the Rockies, the Mets, the Angels. Hell, the Tigers even have one of the best records in baseball since June 1st. So now they're only at least 10 games under 500, not the, 57 the Royals are. It has fallen apart in such epic proportion that I don't think it's wrong anymore to question how could it have gone this poorly. I understand the things that were going wrong with the team before, and now the injuries are piling on top of an already existing issue because that's what took place. The team wasn't good enough, and then they got hurt, so then it looked even worse because of the guys who are being called upon now that they never had any intent to be called upon. Where the hell do you go from here? I heard J.J. Piccolo late last week say that they have no intention of doing any mid-season firings. And while I understand that functionally it will not just solve the problem or fix their issues, the accountability part is starting to become a real question mark. And I think that's where the conversation is changing, at least for me, Drew, in the sense that when I look now at the team, my question is anyone in the organization holding anybody accountable? Like, and at this point, if the hitting coach and the pitching coach and the manager and the general manager and all the assistants underneath them and every person who works in the organization, if everybody's just going about their daily life and there's no accountability, well, then who's holding who accountable? Is Sherman holding anybody? Is JJ? Is Q?
Yeah, it's a big question.
Are the players? Is anybody standing up in the locker room or the clubhouse saying this is unacceptable? Like, work harder, do more? It feels like my problem now is I fear that there's a lack of an accountability from the very top, like John Sherman, all the way to the bottom, that there are players not holding each other accountable enough either. And what you fear, or what you constantly fear is, and what I've seen with a million Royals teams in the past is, if you do that long enough, not maybe the amount of time it's happened this season, if you do that long enough, then everybody just gets used to the losing and they're okay with it.
Yeah, I don't want to say that's where they're at, but
I don't think they're there yet, but it is barreling towards that.
It does feel like by them not making any moves or just this it feels like this attitude from the franchise, I guess, if you will, that this season you've just totally lost everybody's interest in it. Like, even outside of Cags playing well and Carter Jensen playing well, it's just a completely lost season that if you could just wipe it away from everybody's memory as if it never happened, is what fans would like to do. Just because it feels like there's, to your point, I don't want to say an effort to change things, but it feels like something has to happen because of what is going on, more so than something needs to get better or they need to make a push for the playoffs or anything. Just there needs to be responsibility taken, I suppose, is what you're really
accountability
going towards.
Like,
and
it
what
has to
fans
feel
want.
like there's accountability for, like, if this show stops getting listened to, Drew, for the next 5 years, that somebody's doing something about it. I understand how the injuries have compiled it, but, like, it was already bad. The injuries obviously made it worse. I'm not trying to pretend like
just buried any chance that they had.
Yeah. Any small, tiny, like, weird back of your mind, like, oh, maybe it just buried any, like, even fundamental chance of not, like, I would say, not like the coming around, the idea that it, like, that they could stabilize and make you feel like things were still going okay. They were 86 wins 2 years ago. They were in the playoffs. They won a playoff series in the wild card round. They went 82-80 last year, and now they might win 65 games this year. Maybe 70 if things go better. Like, that's not just falling off. That is an inexcusable level of failure that I can't put my finger on. Like, how am I supposed to describe that? And everybody else, every other team, and I understand they got bigger budgets and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Every other team who's had this level of failure has done something. And look, I'm not like, it's not like just like they're having a bad season. They're having an inexplainably, like, bad season. Like an
unacceptably bad
season. Yes.
Yeah.
Like, bad is one thing. Last year was like you didn't quite live up to expectations. We're all a little frustrated. This season is catastrophic. Like, there's a big difference between those two things.
Yeah, and I wonder what, like, mentally it does. Like, I don't want to say that this is where they're at necessarily, but, like, in life, you kind of go through those, like, peaks and valleys where in the valleys, you almost lose who you are, where it's like, what am I doing? Like you lose motivation, you start to question things, all that other stuff. And I'm not saying that's where the Royals are at necessarily, but by them not making any moves, it sounds like they're almost just sitting and sulking and sitting in what they're in right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that is to hopefully just say, well, next year we're going to turn things around. We got a new mindset, and if this is enough to wake up everybody, but
it's going to have to come with wholesale changes.
But it definitely feels like this is one of those. You're in a very big valley, and there's just no way to get look. If they do make a change, who's to say it does anything? Is them making a change, Cody, more for the team itself, or is it more to? Or would it be more to appease fans that somebody's got to get fired from it? Because right now, even if they did make a change, it's not going to change anything of where they're at right now. I don't. No. If they make a change, they're still going to miss the playoffs.
That's the problem. It doesn't actually fix anything. It's just you want to know that they're thinking about it.
It would be more to
they're doing something.
Yeah, it would be more to an appease the fan base thing, I think, than anything else. I totally get and I understand why you would feel that way as a fan. You want to feel like something's being done, but I wonder if that's the explanation for why they're just going to stand pat is, well, we're going to get rid of some players at the deadline. Everybody's going to keep their jobs because this thing is down bad enough that it's not getting fixed with one person getting held responsible for it. We'll see what happens at the end of the season. I don't know if that's where they sit, what their mindset is, but that to me is how you would explain the reasoning for not firing anybody during the season.
The truth is, at the end of the season, like let's just say JG's true to his word, he'll join the show tomorrow, and that they're not looking to make any kind of moves in season. And I do understand the general concept of it's not going to solve their actual problems. I know, Drew, that it's just to do it, right?
Yeah.
It's an accountability thing, right? It's not going to fix the bottom line, as it were.
It would be to appease fans and show that we are holding somebody responsible for this.
At the end of the year, if they don't make serious roster and coaching and whatever changes, well, then they're just not serious about winning. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
I think that's a fair conversation.
There's no other way to put it. If they do not make serious changes about where they are at the end of this season, then they're not serious about winning. And they think that they've had all the right answers, and for some reason, they're cursed? Like, because that'd be the only other explanation for it. But if they're going to wait till the end, it is what it is, and I'll just kind of go from there.
And the reason, so somebody says, for the 816, someone within the organization needs to show that they give a darn and that this is unacceptable. But I do, if it doesn't solve anything, then to me, and this is not just, does it solve anything this year? Let's say they fire Q in the middle of the season and they bring in somebody else and it doesn't work out again. And then they bring in somebody else and it doesn't matter. And they fire somebody else in the middle of next season and then it doesn't matter again. Then you're not.
Like the Raiders changing head coaches every year for like a decade. Yeah, they didn't fix their actual problems.
They might care about winning, or they might show that they care about winning and that they're holding a standard, but the fact that they're bringing in more people that it's not working out with is the problem. Is where, to me, I understand why you want people to be fired and somebody to be held responsible, but if it doesn't result in you winning more games, to me, I don't know what sense it makes, at least for this year, where it feels like this season is totally lost. You're just going to eat your L and take it and then deal with it at the end of the season. I think you're right, though. If the season ends and they really don't do much of anything to change things, then that's where you have a serious conversation of what is actually going on within the organization in terms of the future going forward.
Because it's tough. They're saying they never cared about winning. But, John Sherman fired. Look, he kept a guy who'd been around the system, admittedly. But he did fire a general manager, get a new manager. Like, they've tried some of the things we're asking him to do. They got rid of Matheny. They brought in Q. They got rid of Dayton. They did this. And, it's even different than when, because I've been around sports radio long enough in this town now to remember when everybody wanted Ned fired and Dayton fired and Alex Gordon traded and everybody cut and all these guys who ended up being, and Mike Moustakas benched forever or traded away or that he wasn't going to be good. I remember those conversations too. Mm-hmm. The problem is during those times, it never went as bad as this. This is, you have one of the 5 best players in the sport and Michael Walker's an all-star again. Everything didn't go wrong for you. Carter Jensen and Jack Caglione are working. And even now, you're still facing down the barrel of a 100-loss season. That part's very, very, very frustrating. Coming up in 15 minutes, we'll talk more World Cup like I mentioned. But we had mentioned this player last week. Me, you, and Alex talked a little bit about Brandon Ayuk. And we did a conversation, Drew, where I said, I'm starting to wonder if he's going to play at all this season. And I'd put it, at that time, I believe the number I gave was, I'd put it at about a 20 to 25% chance he doesn't play football anymore. Drew, my number's up. Way up.
Like how far up now?
Like 80%. Yep. This man never plays another snap in the NFL. And the reason why is that he can't seemingly get it together long enough to even do this. Do you remember last week when I had said, hey, he keeps saying he's going to go to the Commanders, but do the Commanders actually want him? He took to, this is how he decided to spend his holiday weekend. He took to social media to criticize Jaden Daniels before he's even his quarterback.
Probably going to text me talking about something. You on my team now. You follow my rules. Boy, I'm a grown-ass man, boy. You gonna have to start running behind your mama, and I might believe what you talking about. But until then,
Yeah, he's going out his mom, which I think there is some questions about. He does love his mom, and his mom's around a lot, but you can't be out here calling out people's mamas like this. No way. Especially for a team that you want to go play for, like what? And
he's the star. He's the franchise quarterback.
And then Jaden unfollowed him, and he had posted something said either it's a bit, and it's actually they're playing into a joke, or it's a real thing that is going to result in him never playing again. I think it's more of the latter. I agree with you. It doesn't.
At this point,
Drew, it's just insane.
I've shifted from the he's an idiot who's going to throw his career away, all the normal stuff, to the Antonio Brown. He needs help.
We are approaching that territory, if not there already.
He needs, at bare minimum, therapy. It could be a real diagnosable, signs of early CTE, or he has a diagnosable issue now, in my opinion, where you need help. You need different people in your life advising you, and you need to start listening to those people who will tell you how it is now. Because how it is if you don't start doing things to clean up your image and to clean up the way you're reacting to these circumstances, you are never going to play in the NFL ever again. That you can just wipe away any possibility you had of being an NFL player. And at 26 years old, considering where his career started, that's crazy. And it also makes it very painfully clear, Drew, that he was always the problem. That this wasn't a 49ers issue or a John Lynch or a Kyle Shanahan, and they weren't wronging him in some way. He can't even get along with a quarterback he's not even playing with. Taking after Jaden Daniels for the one team that might have shown interest in you, or that at least you had interest in, and then burning that bridge before you ever step foot on a field against him is crazy. Because if you're the Commanders, you can't sign him now. Imagine that press conference when they say you were talking about Jaden Daniels' mom.
Yeah.
True. They can't. The Commanders can't sign Ayuk. Now, where was he? Where would he even go?
There's no optics that make sense for him to sign there. And even also for Brandon Ayuk to say, "This is my team." What are you talking about?
You don't even play for him.
One, you don't even play for them. Two, you haven't played football in 2 years, so we don't know how good you are. He says he's been training on the side, whatever the case is. Even if he is good, it's never the wide receivers team. The Vikings are not Justin Jefferson's team. He's the best player, but they're not Justin Jefferson's team.
No.
If the wide receiver, if the team is the wide receivers, you're not winning anything.
Look,
You're just not winning anything.
There might be some. Justin Jefferson might be the only answer where I might say he is probably maybe a bigger leader in a locker room than Kyler Murray today.
It still is.
That might be the end of the list, Drew. Genuinely, do you know how few teams I would actually even consider that an option for? It's sure as hell not Brandon Ayuk, who doesn't even play for the Commanders.
And hasn't played a down of football in 2 years. Yes, correct.
He's never going to play again. I'm like 80, 85% sure he's never playing another snap in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't know if you've jumped. My percentage went way the hell up after this weekend.
I'm right there with you, but it's a crazy story, but also really sad how this has kind of unfolded where, you
start to feel bad.
Where he has the ACL tear, and it's like, dang, he just got paid. He was playing really good. It'll be interesting to see what they look like when he gets back to everything that this has turned into here in the last year and a half. It's just insane.
Yeah, it's
and also is sad, and this just how it kind of unfolds is pretty sad.
That's the part. That's the part where you stop. We've done this before with players. I think this eventually we hit the shift with Antonio Brown's a really good example of this, where for a while we would joke and ha and oh, look at this idiot.
He's running off the field with his shirt off.
He's a comedy, and we'd all just have our fun. And then it shifted to you need actual help. You know this is how I felt about Kanye. Dead serious, Drew. There was a stretch when it was all laughy laugh, and then I'm like, no, get actual help.
Yeah.
Medication or therapy or all of those things.
Yeah.
This happens in non-sport settings too, where it stops becoming funny or what are you doing, you idiot? Or you just start, or the circus part of it where we all become engaged. And it says he had 1,300 yards his last full season in the NFL. And then in 2024, he had 374 and got hurt.
And hasn't played since.
And
right?
he has not played. And look, he was definitely having a down season that year, but he hasn't played then. His last game was in the middle of the season in 2024. So all of 2020, half of 2024 missed, all of 2025 missed, and he's not getting back on the field anytime soon now. And the 49ers, I don't know what they're doing either. Just whatever you might have to sacrifice in him being available. Every time he talks, it's still with your logo, in my opinion.
No, 100%.
So get him off your team and separate yourself from this circus.
Yeah, I understand they might have to give him some more money or whatever the case is, but yeah, it feels like they need to separate themselves from it, so that they can just kind of wipe their hands clean of it, I suppose. Because at this point, he looks like, I suppose has been the bad guy this entire time. But by association, he's still a San Francisco 49ers wide receiver at the moment. So I still think, even though it's not there, it's a guilty by association thing, or you have some responsibility in this because you haven't cleaned up your side of things either, where you could just say, hey, we're going to cut you, we're going to pay you, here you go, and we're done.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. What'd you end up doing, by the way, on the 4th of July, Drew? We didn't end up hanging out at you didn't come to the pool?
No, we did not.
Did your wife have to work?
A little mini shift.
Okay.
Which sometimes happens, when, and
somebody doesn't call.
You've been a part of the industry enough. I have
people
not.
People calling sick at restaurants.
But yeah, people calling sick, even though they're not necessarily sick. I think that just happens kind of in general. But yeah, she did a little mini shift, and we were still able to enjoy some fireworks on the 4th, and just have a.
So you just sat out at the apartment and watched like the Legends fireworks show, or what?
Yeah, hung out and relaxed, and we did catch some fireworks, which was nice to be able to get off that early to enjoy it. But the weekend went by really fast too. I don't know if it felt that way for you, even though we had 3 days where we weren't doing the show Friday. I did golf on Friday. That was a lot of fun.
That's right. You said you were going to go to
Lionsgate. I got the opportunity to play at Lionsgate. Broke 80 for the first time this year, which felt amazing. I played so good. It was really, really refreshing.
Play good at a good course. That always feels nice.
It was really refreshing to play.
The nicest course I ever played at, I played terrible, which was Harbor Town. And I played.
Oh, really? You played at Harbor Town? That's awesome.
Well, I played it the week before the PGA was going to be there.
That's cool.
And so we went out there, and I played. We had a 4 caddy and everything. I played awful.
Sometimes it'd be like that.
I felt bad for that guy. Although, in fairness, the 4 caddy there for the course who'd been there, he said he'd been there for 20 years. I did hit one shot that he'd said he'd never actually seen successfully happen.
Nice.
So I got to take that, not in a good way, but whatever. I don't care. It landed. They have an island green there, but it is a sand trap. And if you hit it into the sand, it is deep. Like, Drew, this island is, if you hit it in the sand, you just got to take a drop. Like, it's an island green, but nobody's hitting the loft to get the thing actually out of there, right? And so I was like 150 yards out, and I sculled the hell out of one. And it actually, it made a sound against the wall that like echoed through the trees as it hit into the side of the wood planked island green, because it's all like wood down to the sand.
Yeah.
And it made the loudest sound, and it had so much spin on it, it spun up onto the green. And he said, I've never seen it. He's like, I've seen a million people hit it. He's like, I've never actually seen it like backspin up with so much force, because I hit it so low, so fast, so wrong that it made it.
Sometimes,
you know what?
That's how my brother, teaching PGA professional, got his hole-in-one, Cody. He had a ground ball essentially on a par 3, and it went in for a hole-in-one.
That's his only hole-in-one?
That's his only hole-in-one, and he hates it because of that. But sometimes it's like that. You just need
Do you have a hole-in-one?
No.
Our former producer just hit one. That's why I was asking. He had posted like a week ago. Nick Schwartz had hit one. So
I actually got close on Friday. I was about, I don't know, two feet away probably. But yeah, I've never hit a hole-in-one before. And shout out to Nick then.
2 feet?
A hole-in-one. 2 feet.
Is that as close you've ever been? I'd be sick. 2 feet.
Yeah, actually, that might be the closest hole. That might be the closest I've ever gotten.
I mean, I would think so. 2 feet, that's close. That's like you almost put it in. Dana's got a couple.
A couple is crazy.
Either
Dana plays a ton of golf, which we know, but also for you to have multiple hole-in-ones is crazy. There's PGA pros that don't have any hole-in-ones.
Really?
I'm sure.
Well, it's harder once you get to that level, I imagine. It's probably easier for them to get them when they're youth. Tiger was just playing some muni. That feels like
I would love to see Tiger play at, I don't know, Tomahawk Hills or something like that. Like, hey, man, there were a couple holes at this golf course where it's like 320. Like, I'd love to see Scotty.
On a par 4?
Yeah, I'd love to see Scotty or Rory just try to get
when you break out the driver, that might be a 3-wood.
You're actually right.
I'm not kidding. He might hit a 3-wood and just say, I'll just roll it up.
Yeah, which is insane to think about.
Or cut it in a way where he's not playing at 320 straight. He's just playing it, because you and I can't hit it over some trees comfortably that he might just buried over the top of,
Yes.
They might just cut a course in half.
Mm-hmm.
I know, like, Brooks did that, right? Koepka was just like playing, like trying to break muni course records for a while. They can't, they can't cheat they can't cut every course.
I do think it's fun to see how good you also get a true perspective. If you see one of those pro guys play a muni, it's like, okay, yep, we know that you're different. Like, I thought that you maybe weren't as good as I thought you were, but while watching you play this course that I struggle at, you just dominate, makes me think differently.
Yeah, absolutely. When we come back, let's talk about the rest of the World Cup. We'll talk more about Balogun's lifted suspension, what that means for the match tonight coming up in the 11 o'clock hour as well. But it has been an epic World Cup so far. Let's talk about some of the best matches over the weekend.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Bobby Witt Jr., and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
The FIFA World Cup is entering its biggest matches, including some today, and there's no better place than Kalshi, America's #1 prediction market platform. That means over on Kalshi, you can start trading even on the match tonight. For instance, maybe a $100 trade on the U.S. tonight could net you $179 over on Kalshi. Or if you're thinking about the match that starts coming up today at 2, maybe think the upset is in line. Portugal trading right now, a $100 trade has a $281 return. That way you can, choose which matches you like, both local and non-local, and make those decisions. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there is no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. So you could buy in at the U.S. at 50%, 54% now, and then trade them if they were up 2-0 at 80%, maybe later in the match. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use the code TAPP, TAPP, to get $10 when you trade 10. KALSHI Kalshi. Trade the beautiful game. 18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contracting, trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see kalshi.com/regulatory.
Yo, it's Jay Uso from WWE, and I'm Jimmy Uso. Chumba Casino and WWE are hyped for the biggest event of the summer, SummerSlam. I know, I can't wait. There's nothing better to do while we're waiting than playing Chumba Casino. Sign up today and you could win a VIP experience with Chumba Casino and WWE for SummerSlam. So what are you waiting for? Play Chumba Casino and enter for your chance to win. Let's Chumba. Yeah.
Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code READY to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code READY to borrow up to $10,000. Use code READY to borrow up to $10,000.
Country music superstar Luke Bryan. Live. Word on the Street Tour. This Thursday night, Martin Amphitheater. With special guests, Shane Prophet, Ray Lynn, Lauren Watkins, and DJ Rock. Tickets are on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Luke Bryan in concert.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this rush hour ad to keep you calm, which could help your driving. And science says therapy is great for a healthy mindset. So enjoy this 14-second session on us. I think you've done everything right and absolutely nothing wrong. In fact, anything that hasn't gone your way could probably be blamed on your father not being emotionally available because his father wasn't emotionally available, and so on. And now that you're calm and healing, you're probably driving better too.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Steve here with Connolly Plumbing Solutions, your neighborhood plumber. Over the summer, trees get hungry and the roots look for water and they break clay sewers. So this month, we are offering a camera inspection and diagnosis for only $129. Catch an issue before you get surprised. If it's bad, we can help. If it's good, we will help you have peace of mind. If you haven't used us yet, we would love to win you over. Visit ConnollyPlumbingSolutions.com to schedule.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Hey, it's Rob Britton, and now that the tournament has started here in Kansas City, we're keeping you up to date on Beyond the Pitch KC. So subscribe and download today. The podcast is presented by Commerce Bank. Visit commercebank.com/soccer26. Available on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, it's Bobby Witt Jr., and you're listening to the home of the Royals, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Hour left to go here on Cody and Gold. Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Alex back tomorrow. We'll be here for the regular shows for the rest of the week. Obviously, Alex is out next week, so you'll get a little Jay Binkley time during that week. Me, you, and me. Yeah, you'll be here next week, right, Drew? You're not going anywhere during the baseball All-Star week?
I'm not going anywhere until you guys start going to training camp.
Training camp.
July 27th through the 31st, I will be out.
That's when you'll be at the Outer Banks.
Yep.
Living your best vacation life.
Yes.
Well, I'll try to figure out whether or not I sneak another trip in. I know I'll go to the lake in August with my brother. I was at Lake Wacomas this weekend, just sitting in the pool with the kids.
There you go.
In fairness, Friday was crazy hot the whole time. You had to be in the pool. And then Saturday was almost too cold to be in. So it wasn't a perfect combination.
Yeah.
I normally like you can be in and out of the pool and you don't feel like you're melting or, you don't freeze. My kids both gave up on the pool before the end of the evening, surprisingly enough. They chose to go play pickleball or do some other stuff, which getting a kid, convincing them to not swim anymore speaks enough about the temperature. Coming up in 10 minutes, we're going to talk about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift's wedding last Friday and some of the photos and celebrities and stories that came out of that. One problem Drew had during the ceremony with part of it, so we can get into that coming up in about 10 minutes from now. But I know we're going to talk Balogun coming up again here at 11:30. I do want to talk about the rest of the World Cup because while the U.S. has been keeping us engaged in this thing, and certainly if they get a win against Belgium, it's one of the furthest the U.S., if not the furthest the U.S. has ever gotten for the men's team in the World Cup. They have kept us engaged, no doubt. But the thing that I think has won everybody over with this World Cup is all of the stars are stars. Kylian Mbappe scored again. Haaland, pair of goals. Hell, Bellingham and Kane in the match last night against Mexico. So we've had some combination of excellent World Cup games because that's what the Argentina-Cape Verde game was over the weekend. But also, the stars are great. Haaland's just doing Terminator stuff, man. It's getting kind of to the point of ridiculous with him, where when people start calling him soccer's Calvin Johnson, it is kind of hard to not think of him that way. He is a freak of nature, Drew. He is a force to be reckoned with. But every single star is going in. We can talk about the Cape Verde, Argentina, and Mexico, UK separate here in just a minute. But, I mean, the fact that the stars have been great, isn't that the part of it that's just making this all work?
Oh, I would say so. I mean, it's crazy. So in 2022, the World Cup, the Golden Boot winner had 8 goals. That was Kylian Mbappe. He already has 7. Lionel Messi has 7. Erling Haaland has 7. Harry Kane has 6. So in terms of the stars showing up in the biggest moments, this is what you ask for as like as a sports fan. It feels like, particularly with the match last night even, but we've had more than just 1 or 2 times where we've said this might be one of the best matches that we've ever seen before, just from the standpoint of the games living up to the hype, the stars showing up in the biggest moments. And not
in Mexico City, back and forth, high energy.
Yeah, it feels like this tournament is just a little bit different. And I know that we get all-time performances throughout sports, but very rarely do we get instances where things almost exceed the hype that we give. And there's a lot of hype around the World Cup anyways already because it only happens every 4 years, just like the Olympics. But for Kylian Mbappe, Lionel Messi, Erling Haaland, and Harry Kane, and the matches that we've seen having been played, it feels like this World Cup has exceeded the hype of what it could be, where it's Cristiano Ronaldo's last one. We found out it was Neymar's last one.
Yeah.
Erling Haaland finally in a World Cup because Norway qualified. Harry Kane, he all of the questions around him, can he lead this England team to finally winning one? I mean, based on how he's played, he's been as good as anybody in this tournament. Kylian Mbappe continuing what has just been a ridiculous run of the last 2 World Cups that he's been on in terms of goal scoring. It feels like, and even Cristiano Ronaldo stepping up and scoring after a lot of questions around him. He finally got his first knockout stage goal. Like, it feels like this tournament has delivered in a way that maybe we didn't even expect it to, just because it's been so good, as you mentioned, with those big-time stars becoming even more household names with, people who watch soccer on a regular basis and those who don't particularly watch much soccer. I mean, Erling Haaland's wearing the cowboy hat and is out here, he's dressing like a cowboy.
I saw
Texas.
Declan Rice in a Royals hat doing
there
a
we go.
post-game interview.
And
he's rocking a Royals hat talking about the match.
And Harry Kane was here throwing out the first pitch. I do think there is a level of that too, Cody, where not just the teams here in Kansas City, but all of these stars being in the United States at the same time, playing at the level that they are, it causes for more conversation, I think, in terms of the star power just elevating themselves to a whole other level.
I will say Harry Kane's postgame last night was quite hilarious.
Oh, he was going through it, and they kept asking him questions.
Yeah, this was
like,
part of it.
Stop.
If you missed it, Harry Kane was getting asked in postgame. He had no voice left. Maybe because of the altitude or the yelling or just, sometimes people lose their voice. This was Harry Kane trying to talk in postgame.
Well, Harry, huge congratulations. What a contest, what a win. But I just firstly wanted to ask you what's happened over there by the England goal, because there looks to be some concern.
Yeah, Jordan, my voice is gone. Henlo just fell over there. I think it's okay. Just something to do with his arm.
Okay, well, as for the performance, I think it says it all, the fact that your voice has gone. That was some contest to watch. What on earth was it like to play in?
Yeah, it was a crazy game. We had to fight. We had to find something. I've just been sitting there. I can't really talk, but...
Having to an entire post game.
Do Harry a solid.
Like
Quit
that.
asking him questions.
Yeah, just he's
so
like,
good.
I can't really talk. I can't really talk. I mean, it just sounds like he had completely lost. But which one did you enjoy more, by the way? Argentina, Cape Verde, or England, Mexico?
Oh, man, it's
really, I wanted Cape Verde, like we all did, to win so bad.
It's really difficult.
So bad.
It's really difficult because that would have been one of the biggest upsets that we've seen in sports, I think, if Cape Verde were to have pulled that off. I enjoyed the England-Mexico match more. Maybe part of the standpoint is I was looking forward to it already. It felt like this was going to be maybe the best match of the round of 16 just from the anticipation, going to the Azteca where I think a lot of
where
people...
they hadn't lost in 88 matches or something is what it said?
Yeah, they only have had 2 losses in their history there at the Azteca. They've been on a ridiculous run. Now 3. I don't think people realize what England actually did. And then to go down by 10, it was the...
Well, Bellingham scored 2 goals in 2 minutes.
He scored 2 goals in 2 minutes. Mexico pulls one back.
He was also great defensively.
Yeah, Jude Bellingham was the best player, hands down.
He was incredible.
Man of the match. Pickford is making ridiculous saves, and then the penalty happens where they go down to 10 men. England does. They get the penalty. They score. Mexico gets a penalty. The match had about everything you could ask for, and then it was just bedlam at the end where it was countless opportunities for Mexico, and they never really got that great of a look until the very end where the ball just went wide where John Stones had cleared it. But I felt like that match was one of the most enjoyable. Like that. There was a period of time where I think it was 15 minutes where it was just bonkers, off the rails, bananas, anything that you could guess could happen, did happen. That's the type of stuff that we enjoy as sports fans, where it feels like that match is the best one that we are going to have. I don't know how it can get better than that, but yeah, man, Cape Verde, the one goal, I forget the guy's name, but the one goal that he had where Argentina went up 2-1, I was like, dang, this is probably it. And he had the curler that went in, and John Stone just lost it, and it's incredible. It's almost unbelievable. It was such a good call. It felt like we had a Cinderella March Madness moment there almost. It was almost there, Cody, where a 16 almost beat a 1 for the first time. When we got that with
Cape
UMBC,
Verde beating Argentina would have absolutely been that version.
It would have been on that level for sure.
Upset. The only it goes back to the broader point. And coming up, by the way, in 20 minutes, FIFA president Gianna Infantino has a new statement about the Balogun stuff. And so, and he claims to reiterate the fundamental principle of FIFA's governance. So we'll get to what he said and the fact that now someone in the UK's prime minister's office has put out a public statement asking them to rescind that red card for the next thing. So they've kind of...
That's what we've introduced with this, unfortunately.
It's if you give a mouse a cookie and it's gotten real bad. So we can... we can absolutely, in just a few minutes, talk about it. The Argentina match, though, it once again... And not even that one. It was more the Croatia match. This is still the problem I have with not soccer, but review in sports. I actually think review has made sports worse. And I openly admit.
You mean the penalty kick where it kind of lost Croatia the match?
Yeah. That for all of time up to this point, all I've ever asked for was more review. I thought it would make the sport better. Accountability, getting these calls right. And genuinely, it has made it worse. The idea that in a massive moment in a World Cup, you have this huge celebration, these huge moments, this thing that makes everyone feel emotional, have a thing. And then I got to stand around for 45 seconds while somebody decides if it touches somebody's hair, Drew. And then it calls back a goal. And then I got to do this again. The review element has made the sport worse. And not soccer, all the sports. Football, basketball, baseball. Less review, no review. When there was just the human element of screwing stuff up, I cared less then. I genuinely did. It is hard because I don't know that you can have people make mistakes that bad and social media. I think part of the reason they were able to get away with a lack of review or accountability on that stuff for so long is social media didn't exist. But it's like these hairline decisions where it's taken emotion out of emotional spots I don't like. That's my only complaint about the World Cup this weekend. I didn't like the way
the VAR is...
Sometimes it's like, or like when the guy was off by a toe earlier. I understand the letter of the law and then the implied part of the rule. And it's just like the further I get from it, the less I like reviewing all the sports.
So I don't, it's weird. The offsides ones are kind of annoying. The penalty ones, I actually don't mind. And I suppose the red card,
like
the red
last
card
night
ones
they gave
too,
Mexico a penalty on Harry Kane's challenge, which was wrong. He did commit the penalty.
Yeah, and I think that ultimately is what it is. Where there is a little bit of it was pass interference, but it's in the fourth quarter. You're going to let him play a little bit. I don't know if you follow that exactly, but it feels like that's the line that we're towing with the reviews is, man, yeah, there's contact, but I don't know if it's enough contact. But a lot of times...
It's the guy sliding off the bag at second base. That's not the point. He beat the throw.
Yeah.
He stole the base. Not that he was off the base for a millisecond where his thigh didn't touch the plate for half a second, you know?
I do think VAR has been relatively good with the penalty stuff. I do think, if it's a penalty, it's a penalty. If there's contact before the ball or, like, for instance, the red card yesterday for England, it was a red card. The guy got to the ball first, but if your foot goes goes over the ball, cleats right into the shin, that is a red card. So good luck to them trying to get it reversed. But I think VAR, I get your frustration with it because it does feel like it takes away from moments that should matter a ton more, where other times it also penalizes teams. Like it takes away great moments, but it also prevents great moments from happening because of things. But if you go by the letter of the law,
the emotional part of watching the sport live, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's for the same reason people feared that when we got automated balls and strikes, there's going to be some World Series moment when Wade Davis gets strike 3 called on the outside of the plate, and
everybody goes
the guy
nuts,
watches and everybody goes nuts, and the stadium erupts, and the guy taps his helmet, and I got to watch. It takes some of the emotion out of it.
Yeah.
It ruins some of the natural live reaction, emotion to watching a live sporting event. That's the part. It's not that I don't want the influence. It's just like it strips some of that. It strips some of my emotion away from watching Croatia score that goal, and we're all like, whoa. I was watching with my son. My kid's been really into the World Cup. I was watching with Desmond. And we were sitting there, and he's like, whoa, crazy, this. And then they were looking at VAR, which he kind of is starting to understand because we've watched enough World Cup matches to know offsides or this or that. And it's just like, I understand that it creates its own drama element of you're watching a replay and trying to decide if they're going to call it. But I don't know. It just like it takes some of that initial reaction away.
For sure.
Maybe it's small. I don't know, but for that part, it's
in certain moments where, like with basketball, especially, did the ball go out of bounds? It's like, guys, it's 4 minutes left to go in the third quarter. It doesn't matter at this point.
Coming up in 10 minutes, we'll talk more about FIFA's decision to allow Balogun to play today for now, although we do know that there's an appeal process in place for Belgium to try to get him out of the match again tonight, as the red card suspension at least would allow him to play at the moment. So we'll talk about all the updated information we have on that coming up in 10 minutes, because it's a mess and it's only getting messier every single second. But let's talk a little bit about what took place this weekend. On Friday, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift got hitched. We found out that Adam Sandler, of all people, was the officiant.
That made me laugh. That was funny.
Yeah, it was crazy. And that they didn't do groomsmen and bridesmaids. They just had a best man and a maid of honor. And it was, Jason Kelce. So they kept things simple in that regard. And we got some of the highlights of they had a giant carnival and you could win prizes. And it was a show. They put on a show. But for the most part, there aren't a lot of photos of it. We know the celebrities that went because we saw the people getting in cars eventually going to the venue. You took issue with one part of it. Can you tell people what? And look, Drew's not trying to be a hater just to be a hater.
No.
He's not happy for Kelce and
it's none of that.
Yeah, Travis and Taylor and all that. But there was a part of it that you thought was a little bit, let's say, hypocritical based on our conversations last Friday of other stuff.
Yeah, it is. So for a wedding, obviously, you talk about the intimacy of the wedding. They didn't want, and there's nothing that's going to get out. Nobody's going to get in. Anything like that, we're going to do it at MSG. It's going to be private. Security's going to be there, yada, 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 all these things. And for something that is so private, it would feel like you would want to enjoy the moment. Not necessarily enjoy the moment more, but it's something that...
Keep it private.
Keep it private. You shouldn't worry about what other people think anyways, yada, yada, yada. There were billboards in New York City saying just and Just and T married, as in Taylor and Travis.
Yeah.
Just married. Billboards going around everywhere. For something that's supposed to be private and enjoyed, why are you worried about promoting this across the streets of New York City? It felt a little hypocritical to me, and you can call me a hater, I suppose, if you want to, but for something that's supposed to be enjoyed in a private setting, it doesn't matter what the rest of the world thinks. It's you and me when we're together forever, those sorts of things. You don't need to promote it. There don't need to be billboards showing we just got married. It felt a little promotion-ish to me, and I didn't care for it.
I think when you are that level of fame, you have to still announce it publicly. And so, my part of it is this is as close as we get in the United States to a royal wedding. It is the single biggest pop star on the planet. We understand the attention it has gotten over the last couple of years. So sticking it up on some billboards, they didn't live stream the I do's. They just posted on a billboard. And then they had, what else she did? She released a press release. Their PR firms had to release a statement saying, yes, they are officially married. This is a thing that took place. And so, to me, that's just part of something you have to do when your life's different than most people's and your level of fame is so insane that you can't even concept it. I do genuinely, and I know the media had a field day with it, I'd love to know how they settled on Adam Sandler as the officiant.
Yeah, I don't know where that
I would love to know how
came from.
That's insane to me. Someone says they think it's because there'll be a movie documentary following their wedding day. That, to me, Drew, would actually be where you have a complaint. If just announcing on the billboards is one thing, but saying we want a private moment to be private, if there's a full-blown Disney Plus documentary of the wedding footage, to me, that's going a whole different, that's not private at all. That's monetizing the wedding.
Yeah, no.
In a way that feels weird. They didn't monetize sticking up a billboard.
That was more of just I get you need to announce it, but you're putting billboards up, and I don't know. It just felt a little weird. But to go another step further, if there was a movie documentary, then yes, that's you monetizing something that's
different.
I understand that there's still you still have the feeling of yes, this is a private setting, this is everything like this, yada yada yada. But for your marketing team or your manager or your publicist, whatever it is, to feel the need to monetize off of it is a level of greed that I would have a problem with for sure.
I don't know if any of this stuff is because this is the other part. There was all these rumors about the prenup. We don't have the official stuff. They're just rumors. The rumors were that it was a 40 page prenup for him.
I saw that there was the prenup, yeah.
And that, there's definitely a prenup.
Yeah.
But the rumors about the prenup, it was One of the rumored prenuptial agreements is that there aren't allowed to be any divorce album or breakup songs about Travis. Do you think that's something you really asked for? That'd be wild. Although I guess in fairness, if she's protecting hers, why not protect yours? What else? Like, if she's protecting the cash, how do you protect yourself in that? You sure as hell don't want to, like, if there was ever a divorce, Drew, you don't want a divorce album coming out about your ass.
Dude, that's
just a rumor. I don't know any of that to be true. That is just one of the rumors about the prenup.
I'm not going to say that this is she's built her career kind of off of the whole breakup thing.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a marriage. It's different, you know?
Correct. I don't think I have a problem at all with Travis covering for himself. It's just that to have to include something like that, it's just it's another like dimension that I'm never going to be able to experience or never understand. The need to, say, hey, if this doesn't work out or whatever, you can't make any songs about me. Like, yeah, it's just a weird universe that we live in, just for the things that happen. 40 pages, though, Cody? 40 pages?
That's the rumor. Drew, she's worth $2 billion in assets.
I get it.
Like,
I totally understand.
I imagine it is, like, and how do you determine, like, some people have prenups where it's like, money we earn together now moving forward is ours, like ours together. And you're like, I don't know, man. She be making a lot more than you even. And it's not like he's going to make no money, right? But I mean, that's it. Someone says, I hate to be that guy, but like everyone gets to do their wedding their way. Just how it is.
There's
a truth to that.
Like
I didn't have a problem with the billboards at all. It didn't bother me. They could put them up.
Yeah.
Someone said they were all over New York. It doesn't bother me. That's just paying an ad budget. They reportedly donated $26 million to local New York charities.
Good for
as
them.
part of
That's
like
great.
shutting stuff down. Like all that stuff. It's like, and I kind of agree. It's like, I don't like to knock people's hobbies or interest or what brings them happiness. So they wanted a private wedding, but to announce it on a billboard, that's cool. I don't care.
So somebody wants
the prenup's got to be serious.
Oh no, I agree with that 100%. Somebody from the 913, you guys are so out of your element talking about this stuff. Stop taking the ridiculous social media comments and running with them as if they could possibly be true. Then putting billboards
I said
up,
that was a rumor. The billboard was real.
Then putting the billboards up, that actually happened. And Cody's saying that the movie documentary, I mean, that
was just speculation.
Yeah,
Drew was just
who
saying.
knows? But in fairness, based on history of looking at how Taylor Swift has monetized her own concert tours, it would fall in line with what they've done before. So we're not saying that it's we're not saying it's going to happen, but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility at this point. Also, this is what we do. You kidding me?
Yeah. I mean, Travis Kelce just
I still love it's a rumor that Balogun could actually not play tonight because it's a rumor that could happen. Like, come on now.
We'll talk more about that coming up in just a few minutes. Still, hands down, one of my favorite things ever is to have a private, celebrity-filled, shut-down Madison Square Garden wedding. And then 3 weeks later, have to sweat your ass off in the Missouri Western dorms. That's funny to me. The juxtaposition of Travis Kelce, newlywed to one of the biggest pop stars on the planet, having to walk down the hill again at old Missouri Western to go play on a practice field at a small college in St. Joseph, Missouri is funny. It's a funny thing to think about because he just signed maybe, let's say hypothetically, a 40-page prenuptial agreement that protects his wife's $2 billion in assets, but he's got to go up to St. Joe.
Staying in the dorms at a D2 college or whatever Missouri Western is.
Yeah, I love it. There's just some part about that will always be funny.
So someone said that you can't make any songs about me anymore.
Wait, I can't?
No, you can't. From the 816, Cody, you can't make any songs about Drew after he gets a new job somewhere else. Sorry,
that'd be crazy if you signed your contract and you're like, I'd like song protection. I don't think I've ever made a song about somebody who left here.
Song protection would be wild.
So at least a little bit different. When we come back, let's talk more about the Balogun decision by FIFA to allow him to play tonight. And now the hearing that could take place because Belgium is complaining. Plus, FIFA president Gianni Infantino has a new statement about it. And I'll let you know what he had to say about his decision to let Balogun play tonight next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan. brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
And Doug.
Hot dog! Get your hot dog!
Customize and save with Liberty Mutual.
Hey, what are you doing?
I like your method. Direct. To the point. A little loud, but...
Listen, people don't buy car insurance the same way they do hot dogs.
Not yet, but both are customizable.
Popcorn! Get your popcorn!
Hey, this is a hot dog area.
And customize and save area. Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local agent.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At Heartland Men's Health, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. Heartland Men's Health, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
I know everyone is feeling the pinch of high gas prices right now, and that's why I love Hy-Vee. They have fuel saver discounts scattered throughout the store. I love going up and down the aisles trying to find those fuel saver discounts. And if you shop Hy-Vee this Saturday and Sunday, you're going to get a 30-cent per gallon fuel discount when you spend $60 on groceries. So you can stack up the savings with Hy-Vee fuel savers, and your next fill-up could be free. There's nothing better than saving money on gas and doing it only at Hy-Vee.
It's Thirsty Thursday at Hy-Vee. Time to stock up the bar and fill up your tank. Earn 50 cents per gallon fuel savings on every $50 purchase of wine, beer, hard seltzer, and spirits. Mix and match all your favorite libations and get a 50-cent fuel saver with every $50 purchase. Stack up the savings and your next fill-up could be free. Don't miss Thirsty Thursday at your Kansas City, Missouri Hy-Vee. Product or promotion differs by location. Offers valid where legal, available while supplies last.
Hey, Mr. C, it's me. Well, I just picked up the ring. I actually went to Hellsberg. Thanks for that recommendation. Kate's gonna love that hers is from the same jeweler you got Mrs. C's ring from. They were so helpful throughout the whole process. They even knew your family by name. And the ring looks great. Anyways, I just couldn't wait to let you guys know. Call me back and wish me luck.
Hellsberg, designed with care and craft since 1915. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Bet365 presents Odyssey Sports Midsummer Baseball Showcase Special from Philadelphia, Monday, July 13th, starting at 9 o'clock. Bet365, where winning is everything. Download the Bet365 app and lock in your picks before the game begins. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in select states only.
This report is brought to you by CM Mosen Son, HVAC, Plumbing, and Electrical Services. CMMosenSon.com.
Dispatch, this is Mindy at CM Mosen Sons Electrical, HVAC, and Plumbing.
You know, you don't have to put off fixing plumbing problems in your home anymore. I mean, you could just ignore that clogged drain or visit cmmosandson.com to take care of your plumbing problems. CM Mosen Son, license 205366.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Back in here on Cody and Gold. Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Only 30 minutes left in the show. Time flies. Alex will be back tomorrow. He was just still traveling back from the lake. Well, the full show in action for that. I had mentioned going into the break, and I want to continue to talk about it, the Flo Balogun situation that took place over the weekend. Drew, I was as surprised, I imagine, as you were when FIFA announced that Balogun was going to get to play. They were going to suspend. Remember, they can't get rid of his red card. Their rules don't allow that. But they are going to suspend his red card so that he can play against Belgium tonight. And so that part was surprising, even though they had just, to be clear, done that for Cristiano Ronaldo before the tournament started. Now, in tournament is certainly different than before the tournament, but this is not the first time. And I've also pointed out, Drew, as you did earlier, that player has since been eliminated. They allowed a player to play in the World Cup who is actively going to face a rape trial very soon. And so, they'll let people play for a million different things or a million different reasons or whatever. It doesn't surprise me that they are corrupt. So let's talk about the decision in just a minute, but I want to give you FIFA President Infantino's most recent comment. He said, quote, "I have seen the public comments regarding the decision of the independent FIFA disciplinary committee related to the suspension for Balogun, and I would like to reiterate a fundamental principle of FIFA's governance. FIFA's judicial bodies are independent. They operate autonomously, apply FIFA disciplinary code, and decide cases based on applicable regulations and the specific facts before them. Their independence is essential to the credibility and integrity of football, and this must always be respected." He then admitted that he did receive a call from President Donald Trump, said that he gets calls from all kinds of people for all kinds of different reasons, but says that that process was already ongoing, and that FIFA's system was independent and had nothing to do with that call, and then said, "I read the decision of FIFA's disciplinary committee when they are issued. Sometimes I am surprised by them. Sometimes I agree with them, and sometimes I disagree. What I always do, however, is respect those decisions and the autonomy of the body that make them." So what he is trying to say, Drew, in short, because I did not read every single word of it, is they made their own decision. That decision was in place before the president called me. I sometimes agree or disagree or don't, so he's not saying which he does in this case, and that whatever they do, I honor and do not fight with their decision. That, to me, implies the idea that he ain't coming back and fighting this thing, this Balogun suspension of the red card in any capacity, but he wants to try to make it seem, at least, that the president calling had nothing to do with this. Here's why this is important. A person in the minority party in the UK has already requested the red card be suspended for the England player last night.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There are Belgium has asked for a pause on or maybe it wasn't Belgium. Olise's yellow card. They've asked for the suspension of that as well.
It's turned into a joke.
The biggest issue with allowing them to do this is that now everybody for the rest of the tournament would not like this to take place. Mm-hmm. The big difference is, though, and this is, I guess, I think my bigger point earlier was, it is the right suspension of the red card for the wrong reason. It is wrong based on their loose, corrupt bylines and guidelines and a million things that allow them to do this, because they are allowed to do this, whether you like it or not. It feels dirty and it feels corrupt, which FIFA's really good about and loves corruption, and they do it constantly. This genuinely is not even in the top 10 most corrupt things Infantino's done in his time as the FIFA president, and not even in the 50 most corrupt things FIFA's done ever. So it's very bottom of the barrel corruption, but it should have never been a red card in the first place. So I'll be honest, I am tired of Belgium's bitching. Just shut up about it and accept that Balogun's going to play, and don't use this as some criminal excuse if you lose tonight or all this other nonsense. I'm not going to want to hear about this forever, Belgium. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you feel slighted and that it feels corrupt, because it is. He shouldn't have gotten a red card anyway, and you know it. He should have been in this match anyway, and you know it. And so if you lose and Balogun scores a couple of goals and you complain a bunch, I'm sorry. I don't feel bad for you. I don't feel bad about it.
Fairness,
is it probably a little corrupt? Yeah, it is a little corrupt.
In fairness, if the shoe was on the other foot, we would be complaining. Like if Belgium, if Kevin De Bruyne was suspended and he showed up and bagged two goals and the U.S. lost because Kevin De Bruyne scored 2 goals.
I don't know, man. I'm pretty good about not complaining about it. I'm not. The general census of U.S. fans probably would. I'm not going to disagree. I don't want to have to like personally say I would.
Yeah,
because I'm admitting that it feels dirty and that they're suspending the red card for the wrong reason, but that he also shouldn't have gotten a red card, so I don't feel all that bad. Balogun should have always been in this match. So like in the end, it's like, it's like you get to the right result for the wrong reason. Anybody who's done, I used to compete, and this is probably not going to surprise anybody because I'm a giant dork. I used to compete in chemistry contests.
Okay.
Where you'd go and you take a big test, or you have to do experiments. Sometimes in like a chemistry setting, or if you're doing like a biology lab and you're doing these things, sometimes you can get the right results even though you had the wrong process. Sometimes you can get the desired effect of the experiment while you didn't follow the rules of the experiment. There's a reason why a teacher wants you to follow the rules of the experiment, because it's teaching you about the process. So like this part of it, it's pretty bad. It is a bad process. It is just them saying none of our rules matter. We can do whatever the hell we want. Nobody cares, whatever. We just live our lives. But it is actually the right result. And so like I have a hard time being bothered by it.
It's the right result of the play. I'm quite frankly not bothered by it either. I am surprised. I don't think it's necessarily the right decision. Like I would say that based on the rules that they have, I know that the rules are bad and that they need to have an appeal process, but they don't. And Balogun was given the red card. So I in my mind, he probably shouldn't be playing tonight. But at this point, it is what it is. It is interesting though. A couple people had pointed this out on social media, that government interference is a violation of FIFA protocols and regulations, and the penalty for that is disqualification for the country that does it. So this whole thing,
but their other rules say that they can just do whatever the hell they want.
If there was just an appeals process for the red card in the first place, then we could have skipped all of this, and it probably would have been rescinded. The result would still be the same, to your point, where Flo Balogun would play tonight because the red card would get reversed.
I guess the question is, how mad will you be if they reverse the reversal? As stupid as that sounds, that's an actual thing that could technically take place.
I would be really surprised. But
would you be mad at FIFA?
No.
If they reverse the reversal?
Okay. Mad at the decision? No. Mad at FIFA? Yes, because it's their fault that they got into this, that we're at this point in the first place. I would be mad at FIFA for sure, because they're making a clown show out of the entire thing if they reverse it. It already is a clown show. But mad at the decision, not necessarily, because it was a red card originally, and they jumped the rule to suspend the red card, to some extent. So I don't mind that he's playing. Obviously, it helps the U.S. out a little bit. I understand the complaints from Belgium, and I do think the optics of it are bad because of what it's turned into.
Yep.
Where
it's messy.
As soon as that red card got handed out last night, well, all England's got to do is make a phone call, and they can get that red card reversed too. No, they can't, because it was a red card. But that's what it's turned into, where the handing out of a red card, it almost hurts the officiating. It turns it into a mockery. Where how am I supposed to be an official where I make a ruling because of something that I see, and it might be the wrong judgment, but all of a sudden something that I see has a direct impact on how the rest of this thing is viewed, I think to an extent is kind of crazy as well.
I will say it speaks to the issues that FIFA had, because FIFA's a bad organization.
Oh, of course. They're up there with the NCAA, in terms of
they're worse.
incompetence.
And you know how much I hate the NCAA.
They are worse than the NCAA.
So that's really saying something. But they broke their own rules with the VAR assist to call the red card, then broke their own rules to reverse the red card, and now maybe there's a rule that they could reverse the reversal. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, it really
you
is.
guys need some better, more firm rules. Like the NFL has an appeals process. Drew, like we know, if you get suspended in the NFL, we know how you appeal. We know how it goes about. We know this happens. There are firm, set, standard rules in which this takes place. But it's like this, and look, they got a little bit of looseness in it because now they wait for like the legal process to take place or whatever. But how the hell do you have this many different things happening for one thing? How can you bend in all your rules this way? It's weird.
Yeah, it is very questionable. And yet, so people are asking about the red card thing. So to me, I still don't blame VAR for that. The referee made the decision. I understand that you can make a suggestion.
The referee didn't give him a card at the moment. What do you mean? He didn't make
the referee did not give him a.
He has to go off the VAR suggestion. He didn't give him a red card in the moment.
I understand that because I think his eyes actually told him what.
This is what's crazy. He didn't get a red card in the moment. VAR screwed up the replay. He then gave him he didn't make the call, then made the call after. Now the reversal, maybe a reversal of the reversal. It's so funny.
Correct. I think that it should have been a yellow card.
Yes.
That ultimately was the referee's decision, though. Like, it could be possible red card, but the referee doesn't have to see that. The referee could say, based on the replay, he wasn't looking at the Bosnian player. He didn't know he was there. He stepped on him. It is a foul. It is a yellow card, but not a red. That's, to me, the VAR question mark was, you need to take a look at this more so than it was, this is a red card and you need to call it a red card. That's not what VAR is. So I still look to the official for that decision. Ultimately, that might just be me, but
like this is the other part. It's like
France
asking for an appeal of Olise's red yellow card, and
that's what it's turned into. A mockery is what it's turned into.
Those are fouls. Like it's not even like those are like by the letter of the law. Oh, like England's last night. That's by letter of the law a red card. 100% of the time, every time, that's a red card. FIFA really could solve this with one thing, which is have the ability to appeal a red card after the match.
We would never be having this discussion.
Boom, solved
it. It would have been solved 2 days ago.
Because if there was a legal appeal process for any red card, then they could make the decisions on a case-by-case basis following the letter of the law of what constitutes a red card. You know what would have happened, Drew? Balogun would have gotten a yellow.
Yes.
And he would have had a red card, and he would have been available for Belgium anyway. But instead...
And we didn't own it 2 days ago, Cody.
They have an independent body who can just do whatever the hell they want. And this is like... I really try to resist the urge of like, let me change the rules of soccer. I don't complain about the clock or the way they do extra time or PKs. They got the most popular sport in the world. They probably don't need me fixing it, right? So like, I usually try to stay out of that portion of it in the sense that like the actual gameplay part. But just simply having an appeals process, that seems so simple. And there is part of me that wonders, is getting kicked out of the game for I feel the same way about the NFL now, too, after the conversation we had about the spitting incident last year. I think all these leagues need to set up what is punishment enough. If you get a red card before the 45th minute, I think the rest of that match is enough punishment.
It's like targeting, you're saying, in college football.
Yeah, they got to play 10 men for the rest of the game. Same as like in the NFL. If you get suspended, if you get ejected in the third quarter, sorry, you got to miss the next game. It is what it is. You screwed up and you got to miss more than... Like, I don't want someone to be able to get a red card during the 94th minute and get ejected from that game, play 10 men, and it feel like it's enough of a punishment. But if you miss more than half the game with a red card, that feels like it should be enough too. I don't know.
Yeah,
that wouldn't apply in the Balogun case.
I mean, you might have a point there. That's just not the rule though. So they could change it. Before we continue to maybe get into predictions or whatever, from the 816, the story has been America can't beat Europe, but they're complaining about us being at full strength. Beat us at full strength before you start complaining. I think it's not that they're scared of the United States. It is the time that the rules is that we follow the rules. Like there's really been no appeals.
It's the U.S. when the U.S. is hosting the World Cup.
It's when the U.S. is hosting the World Cup that the American team, that the president called FIFA, that all of this has happened, and it's the U.S. player that is getting the red card suspended for in a match. That's what it is. I more than it is anything else. Because if we're being honest with you, on paper, a lot of the European teams do and can beat the U.S. men's national team. So I think this is a people trying to flex you guys just don't want us to be a full strength sort of thing, where I do think it presents the situation where
selfishly, I definitely want Balogun to play. I mean,
of course you do.
I want the U.S. to win tonight against Belgium.
If you're rooting for the United States, you want Balogun to play, of course. But it does present the possibility in the outcome where Balogun does play and they lose at full strength, and it makes the situation
it a little extra embarrassing.
More of a mockery of embarrassment.
But it's so funny too, because like I've seen all the other stuff. Like I've seen Belgium fans say, "Don't play him." Refuse. I'm like, fine, give him a free pass of court. That's stupid. I've seen this is going to make his life hell in the Premier League because all these fans are going to boo and stuff. I'm like, they were already going to do those things and do those things anyway.
It's not Balogun's,
And Balogun, unfortunately, has to suffer through the part of like, I don't know if anybody who's just tuning into soccer or doesn't watch Premier League doesn't realize this. European soccer has a pretty ugly history of racism. So that's probably not going to help Balogun either. They changed a rule, Drew, in Premier League that you couldn't cover your mouth when talking to the opposing player. Do you know why they changed that rule? Because of the awful things they were saying to other players. So this part of it, it's like Balogun shouldn't feel bad, but he gets caught up in the center of the controversy, and he just didn't do anything except for play soccer, get suspended, and somebody lifted it. He didn't do anything, Drew. He just simply did that. He didn't ask the president to call. He didn't call him himself. He literally did nothing. How's he the problem child, I guess, is the problem. That's the part about sports that gets ugly.
Yeah, there's nothing about Balogun that made this issue happen. This is a FIFA complaint. This is a process complaint more than it is the individual at hand.
Yeah. Match tonight, you excited?
I'm very excited.
U.S. versus Belgium. I know we'll have some stuff over on our live stream page, I believe, for those of you who want to watch it. Drew, you're going to be a part of that, right?
I will be, yep. Myself and I expect to.
So if you guys want to Twitch, YouTube, chats, all that stuff, they'll be live streaming tonight, watching the game. So if you just want to watch with some of the 96.5 The Fan crew, that'll happen tonight over on the YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and pages. Just the normal way you watch the stream now, of course, as we do pay attention to it. I think this match is going to be very close. I think it will be sweating it to the bitter end. I happen to think the U.S. is deeper across the board. I think Belgium has a history of having the better strikers, but they're old, and I wonder about holding up over the course. And I do think that it is not an accident that this is the best the U.S. has looked in a World Cup in a long time, and they happen to be playing all these matches at home. Like, I know Mexico just lost last night at home. So I'm not saying the U.S. can't be upset on home soil. I do think that that's given them a boost, Drew. And I do think that that might be the small difference between two teams I think are evenly matched tonight. The one advantage I can clearly pick out is the U.S. is playing in Seattle and the field will be in their favor. And so, I do think the U.S. will win tonight 2-1. But I do think that this match is going to be close and down to the very end,
Yeah, I think it's going to be highly contested. It's going to be tight. I think that Belgium is, from an experience standpoint in playing in this, and also a tested standpoint as well, they've gone through a tougher road to get where they are than the U.S. men's national team. I think they're better. I do think that Thibaut Courtois is a guy that is going to just, if he plays at his capability, then it's going to be really difficult to score. Against Belgium, they've already been tough to score against anyways in the group stages, and obviously, they found a way to come back against, I believe it was Senegal, but it feels like if both teams play at their best, Belgium is the better team, and that's why I'm picking Belgium to win. I'm not rooting for Belgium to win, but I think Belgium gets us 2-1, unfortunately, similar to back in 2014.
Tough. You're picking against the U.S. tonight? You're just being honest?
I'm just being honest.
Would you have picked... What do you think the score would have been without Balogun? Still 2-1? The odds didn't change a ton, by the way.
Yeah, I would still say 2-1.
The odds didn't...
Because as good of a player as Flo Balogun is, I don't think it would... That wouldn't mess with how many goals Belgium scores with, because he's not in the defense. I would just based on how Romelu Lukaku's playing, sometimes sports are weird and momentum is a very real thing. And Romelu Lukaku has been the spark for that team that has...
He's just not playing the whole game.
Right, which is going to be interesting. When does he sub on? Because in the match against Senegal, he subbed on at the 45th minute, as opposed to like in the 70th-ish, which is about where he was before. So there's a lot of strategy aspect of it that I'm very excited about. I knew somebody would say, get me out of here. I'm being a hater. I'm just telling you what I think. I would gladly be wrong. I would gladly see the U.S. go through.
I will say, Belgium feels like they are having to work hard to get to 2 goals, though. Like, this has not been a team that has just been like...
been as good as they should be, yes.
They've been mediocre, to tell you the truth. They don't look like a team that's having a lot of great scoring opportunities. The U.S. has been much better at creating scoring opportunities so far in the matches I've seen. I've watched, I think, Belgium play maybe 2.5 matches. So, like, I haven't seen every single second they played in the World Cup, but
that's why I think it'll be relatively...
I watched a decent amount.
Yeah, that's why I think it'll be relatively important to see how the beginning of the match goes, where if the U.S. can get ahead on the front foot, then I think they position themselves really well, where if they're playing keep up, I think it opens up the match a little bit more, which can cause some problems in the counterattack in terms of the structure of everything. So somebody said I'm acting like Rob. Rob does apparently is kind of notorious for being not necessarily the ho-hum guy, but they're
going to lose guy?
Yeah.
He does pick against them in the playoff, the Chiefs against them in the playoffs and all that other stuff. So, you could call it a realist if that would make you feel better. I pick against the team sometimes. It's just, this is a close match. If they were playing Argentina today, I wouldn't be saying, I think the U.S. is winning tonight. Yeah, the truth is, because I wouldn't think. Although Argentina seemed more susceptible after going toe-to-toe with Cape Verde. That kind of opened up my eyes a little bit.
You're right about that. If they were going up against France, no chance you're picking the U.S. to beat France, unless you're you've been hyper-optimistic, which is great.
Have you guys been watching...
They've been the best team hands down.
Have you been watching Mbappe and Olise play?
It just looks easy.
Nothing even looks